Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To our lecturer, Sir Ahmad BUKHORI. I am TUAN NURNAJWA NAJIHAH BINTI RAHIM, and the others member for my group are SITI FARA HALINA BINTI Muhammad YANI and NADHIRAH BINTI Cik Abbas. So, to complete our task, we choose Ijarah as our topic for the presentation. We start with the definition of Ijarah. For literally definition, Ijarah comes from the root word which means compensation, or it also means the sale of usufruct. For the meaning of technically, a contract of proposed and known usufruct with a specific and lawful return or compensation for the effort or work which has been expended, and it is used to express the sale or buy for a known benefit in return for its known equivalent. Next, we move to the nature of al-ijarah. Lease is a contract by which the owner of land, a building, allows another person to use it for a specific time, usually in return for a rent. Al-ijarah means a lease contract as well as a hire contract, and also al-ijarah, also known as al-kira. It is like someone who is selling to someone else a right to benefit or as a payment for service with a certain price to be paid for it. And in the context of Islamic banking, it is a lease contract under which the bank or financial institution lease equipment or a building to one of its clients against a fixed charge. There are the differences of opinion of Ijarah. There are 2 points. First point is forbid contract of Ijarah. Some jurists including Hasan al-Basri, al-Nahrawani and others. Ijarah is the sale of usufruct or service, and service is something intangible and does not exist at the time of contract. It only can be achieved gradually over a certain period, and something that not exists cannot be sold. And it is not permissible to associate buy or trade with something that could only be realized and achieved in the future. And for the second point is allowed contract of Ijarah. Majority of jurists, including Ibn Rushd, even though usufruct does not exist at the time of contract, normally it could be realized or achieved. This type of usufruct or benefit could ordinarily be accomplished, or its accomplishment or non-accomplishment is rather similar. Next, evidence for Ijarah come from Hadith and Ijma'. From Hadith, give a servant his fee before his sweat dried up. From Al-Baihaqi, reported by Ibnu Abbas to the effect that Prophet ﷺ had himself coupled and gave the person who coupled him his remuneration. If it is prohibited, he would not have paid him in the first place. And for the Ijma', the Ummah had come to a consensus during the time of companion on permissibility of ujrah, since the need of people of usufruct is similar to their need to physical good.
There are few pillars of al-ijarah. First, mu'ajir means a person who gives something for hire. For example, lessor, landlord and owner. Second, mustajir, which a person who take on hire. For example, lessee, tenant and renter. And third, ma'jur. Ma'jur is a thing given for rent. And the fourth, al-manfa'ah, which means the benefit from a thing. For example, usufruct and service. And the fifth is ujrah, which is price or fee given for the payment of rent or lease. And the last is sirah. Sirah means offer, ijab and acceptance, which is qabul. This is flow of al-ijarah. First, finance company buys the vehicle from vendor or car dealer based on the order of the customer. And second, finance company rents the vehicle to the customer at a rate agreed upon for a specific period of time. The customer agrees to pay a road tax and insurance coverage. He also will be responsible for its maintenance. And last, at the end of the period, the finance company and the customer will sign the sale and purchase agreement. Type of Ijarah. First, based on subject matter, which consists to, first is Ijarah Ain, means to list the usufruct from the specific good or asset, and it comprises all tangible assets, for example, property, transport, facility, and factory. Second is Ijarah Mausufah fi al-Zimmah, which means form of Ijarah where asset need to be described in advance, and the lease item or asset is not available during contract. The asset of Ijarah Mausufah fil Azimah must be delivered on a future agreed date, and its no requirement should be imposed for the rental payment to be paid in advance. Second type of Ijarah is based on the contractual relationship, which also consists to, first is operating lease. Its original form of Ijarah or Ain, and feature of operating lease is asset acquisition is in full ownership of the lessor, which legal and beneficially ownership, and operating lease responsible to maintain, bear by the lessor in administrative affairs and maintenance of asset. Lease only responsible in the maintenance due to usage and has to pay rent for agreed. Operating lease also it rests on the asset under liability and responsibility of the lessor. Operating lease also high risk in nature. And the second is financial lease. Financial lease normally used and offered by Islamic bank as financial intermediaries in, first, obtaining desired asset and obtaining cash money for various purposes. Financial lease, also known as al-ijarah summa al-bay', al-ijarah wal al-aqtina, or al-ijarah muntahiyah bil al-tamlik.
Condition of al-ijarah. The first is the property must be belong to lessor. Second, the property is known to both parties and is specified. Third, the property can be acquired by the lessee for his use until the end of tenancy of lessee. Fourth, the property should be in a good condition, possible for leasing. Fifth, it is the liability of the lessor to repair damage of the property in order to make it possible for leasing. And the last is, it is the liability of the lessee to ensure the cleanliness and safety of the property. Modern application of Ijarah. Our group choose credit card based on Ijarah. This is the modus operandi of credit card. The first is bank identify suitable merchants, and second, bank appoints client as agent to purchase the durable goods from the merchants. Third, client purchase goods as an agent for the bank. And the last step is bank rent the durable goods to the client on AHMAD basis, and the client will pay rental accordingly. The conclusion for Ijarah. We now know how the Ijarah works and operates. It's one of the most important Islamic financing instruments. The Islamic finance protect people from falling in riba or any gharar action, so our investment and assets stay halal.